Warning, this podcast contains spoilers. Hello everyone, and welcome to the As Seen on TV podcast for Arrow Season 3, Episode 6, Guilty. I am your host, Clio, and welcome to the One Woman Podcast. So, I really like this episode, and then at the same time, I really didn't like this episode, because, everything Olie did in this episode pissed me off. But I want to start off with someone who's becoming a very, very dear character to my heart, Ted Grant, Wildcat. We find out he used to be a vigilante named Wildcat. Herf, but he really wasn't the same speed as Olie. Nobody paid attention to him because he was focused on the Glades. So, he didn't really get any attention, so he actually, I don't even think, really had a name. He just wore a mask. Just like Olie. And one of the things that Olie really pissed me off this episode is how he treated Ted. Just, complete shit. It's like, dude, you're looking at yourself. For Doctor Who fans, it really reminded me how the Doctor treats soldiers. The Doctor in Doctor Who hates soldiers because it's the parts about himself he doesn't like. Oh, I was just so mad. Olie is just the worst. He's the worst. The other thing that Ollie's pissed me off for this episode was how he treats Laurel. It's gone beyond honoring Sarah's memory. It's gone beyond trying to protect Laurel. It's gone on into sexist territory. Oh, you're getting training from someone else because I denied you? You shouldn't be just, you're a woman, do your law thing. It's like, oh no, Olie. He's really... And I understand if you don't agree with me that his choices are sexist, but it's really what it feels like. It's really what it feels like. And I hope that it doesn't come to that when he finds out that Thea Queen. Okay. So if any of you have just been yelling at me because I've been pronouncing her name wrong this, entire season, I've done 5, this is the 6th episode of this show I've done. And every time I pronounce Thea's name wrong, I call her Taya, like she's from fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Anyway, I was saying that I hope that when Olie finds out that Thea has been learning how to fight, that he's not going to treat her like this, because then that'll be like, Olie, check your privilege. I'm going to make him roll a d20 for a privilege check. But anyway, yeah, he doesn't want her to get any sort of training. It's like, this is... And yes, she's lying to him, which is smart, because if she didn't, he would have gotten madder. And she's like, I'm just boxing. I have no desire to become a vigilante when that's really what she wants to do. She knows it. She's lying to everyone else because nobody supports her. Nobody supports her, except for Ted. And which is why I think she's gonna end up convincing him to start vigilanteing again. It's not a word. And then Wildcat, Black Canary team up will be awesome! It's gonna be pretty dope. But yeah, so Olie gets really mad. There's 3 times where he gives Laurel a speech about you shouldn't be doing this. And I honestly am forgetting what he said. I'm forgetting what he said in those speeches because every time I shut down, I'm like, no, bro, you're wrong. So Olie at the end basically says he'll never stop looking out for Laurel. But, just let her live her life, man. He's such an ass. I hate him. So it turns out that Ted wasn't lying when he said he never killed anyone. The drug dealer who got killed, who was beaten to death, wasn't beaten to death by Ted. He was beaten to death by his sidekick at the time. His sidekick, Isaac, who lost control and killed a drug dealer. And Ted, I think, how I see it in my head is Ted got scared. He saw that Isaac lost control, killed someone, and Ted just cut it off. Was like, nope, no more of this, no more of you, we're done, that's it. And Isaac got kidnapped and tortured because of it, and I think if Ted really stuck with him and wasn't quite so scared of the brutality that he saw, he maybe could have saved him. But Ted was just scared. He never meant for anything like that to happen. Isaac is obviously a mirror for Roy. And the difference between Roy and Isaac is their mentors. So Ted had never killed anyone before he became a vigilante, and even as he never killed anyone. Like, in his life, never killed anyone. Olie has killed a lot of people, and he has now made this pact to not kill anyone. So he understands killing, and he understands how important it is not to, and he also understands forgiveness, because he had to forgive himself for killing all of those people in his past in order to move on with this future of not killing anymore. So he looks at Roy and he understands. He's like, I know you didn't kill Sarah. It's just stood there. Olie knows he didn't kill Sarah. But Olie does know that Roy did kill someone, and that was the one person, and it was a cop. But it wasn't, Roy didn't have his, faculties. He wasn't all there. He was strung out on Medikudu. And, God, that sounds so racist. So Olie knew that it wasn't Roy's fault, and Olie understands forgiveness in that regard. Heaven forbid, Laurel learns how to defend herself / fight. I'm not forgiving him for that. But he did do something good, and he stuck by Roy, and he helped him remember what he had done and why he was having these dreams. And it wasn't that he killed Sarah, it was that he killed a cop, and he was just having nightmares. Was very, very disappointed in Diggle. Oh, so disappointed, because he's like, cut Roy loose. It's like, it's time. He did this to Sarah. It's just cut him loose. Like, what? Diggle? Come on, Diggle. I mean, I think obviously everyone loved Sarah. Sarah was a big part of their team for a long time. And, they all want justice. I think it's going to be, right now, Roy and Olie are the only ones who know what actually happened. That Roy had killed a cop and was just reappropriating his memories. Felicity and Diggle will be easier to convince that he didn't do it to Sarah. Laurel is going to be a lot harder, because I think Laurel now that Roy confessed, Laurel is like, he killed my sister, and she's really, obviously, really pissed. And I was so shocked she didn't just start beating the shit out of him in the cave. It's not a cave. In the hideout. I was like really expecting her to just deck him. But yeah, I think there's going to be some tensions, and it's going to be harder to prove to Laurel that it wasn't Roy. Because I think now she has a face to her sister's killer. Now she thinks she has a face to her sister's killer, and she's going to really cling to that, I think, because she needs an answer. She wants it. Desperately needs an answer, because without an answer, she's just fist swinging. So that's gonna be difficult in the next couple episodes. So the reason Felicity was very nervous about the whole Roy having the dreams that he killed Sarah was because of a curious thing in the digital autopsy, where the angle of the arrows and the force, the trajectory of which they hit Sarah, was not compatible with a bow, and it seemed that the arrows were thrown with great force into her, which is the nightmares that Roy was having. And that's weird. That means that Sarah's killer couldn't have been an archer or a normal archer, because the archers that we have so far, none of them really have superhuman strength. So, I mean, the only people on the table who could have killed Sarah right now are Slade, which I don't know why Slade would have done it. Slade's like off the table for now anyway. Or Ra's al Ghul, because Ra's al Ghul, especially if this is, especially if this is in keeping with all the other versions of Ra's al Ghul, the Lazarus Pit does give him some supernatural strength. Not a lot, like it's not. I actually don't know the level of supernatural strength, but Ra's al Ghul does have. The Lazarus Pit does give him some supernatural strength, so I think he would have been capable of throwing the arrows into Sarah's chest. So I think that I'm like clinging to. It was Ra's al Ghul. I'm like clinging to it. Yeah. So that's my theory on that. In the flashbacks, this episode, we were getting a lot of Masao and his wife Tetsu. And she showcased some of her abilities. Her alter ego in the comics is Katana, and I don't think Katana has any really supernatural abilities. I think she's just a badass fucking fighter. I think she has an intelligent weapon or a cursed weapon. Sometimes takes the souls of those it kills. Listen. This is reminding me of D&D Sword right now. I'm not even kidding. So she doesn't have any powers of her own. She's just very skilled at sword fighting. She uses dual katanas when she fights. One of them is enchanted. It's not so much listen. The whole breathing thing, calming your mind. It doesn't happen that fast. It takes a lot of training, but I can get behind that it happened in one session. I can't get behind that it happened like that. But it's an actual technique. There's no supernatural thing about it. It's just you clear your mind, and your mind shows you what your brain talks, and it sometimes doesn't stop, and it's hard to get it to shut up. But when you do, you remember things you didn't think you could remember. But she's very good at sword fighting. I can't wait for her to start fighting, because it's gonna be bad ass. And I want Masao and Tetsu to come to the present day storyline. But I don't think that'll happen until the end of the season, or maybe even next season. But it's definitely on the table, because these are DC comic characters, and they're definitely gonna come up. We learn more about Chen Na-wen, which I fucking... Listen, last week I called her China White. Yes, okay, that's her name, but it's Chen Na-wen. Chen Na-wei. It's Chen Na-wei. I actually don't remember a lot about Chen, because she was in a lot in the first season. She was in 5 or 6 episodes in the first season. She was only in 1 episode last season. I think we're going to get a lot more, not a lot more of her, but a lot more of her coded messages while in Hong Kong, because they're Amanda Waller is tracking her and wants her for whatever reason. But we know we've seen her in Starling City in the present, like 2 years ago or whatever. So we know that she evades at least Amanda Waller's grasp because she ends up in the present day. Next episode, which I'm very, very not excited for, is Draw Back Your Bow. I thought it was going to be some epic shit with Malcolm Merlyn and, what's his name? Ra's al Ghul. But it's an arrow-obsessed serial killer called Carrie Cutter who shoots heart arrows. She thinks she's fucking Cupid. She thinks that the arrow is her one true love and will stop at nothing to get his attention. But unfortunately, getting his attention means killing people. I am just... Listen, she looks so stupid. It looks really fucking stupid. I am excited about this because I thought that said Roy. But it actually says Ray. Listen, I'm very concerned for Felicity. Because she's in this weird place that female characters get in sometimes. Where it's like, I've dated everyone on this show. That happens to male characters. That is actually Olie. That is actually Olie, but it's a little more dangerous for female characters because just of, you know, how people treat genders differently and how much more scrutiny there is on a woman for dating around than there is for a man. Which shouldn't be, but is, you know, that's why I'm just nervous for Felicity. Ray asked Felicity to be his date for a work dinner with important clients. Thea auditions new DJs for Verdant and meets Chase, a brash DJ whom she immediately clashes. Now, I don't know who Chase is. And I feel like this is something like last week with Tetsu, who I'm like, Tetsu? I don't know who Tetsu is. And then find out I knew who she was all along. But, yeah, Chase. I feel like I should know who Chase is, but I don't. So thank you all so much for watching. I'm Clio Moto, and you can find me there all over the internet. You can find all of us at ASO TV Podcast on Facebook, YouTube, Gmail, Google+, Twitter. Did I say that already? MySpace. And, yeah. Right here on YouTube. So, I always say YouTube twice. I have to re-say how I do this. So go follow us and subscribe and like and comment. Please comment. I want your comments. Like, I feel... this is like one of the only shows that I don't get any comments on. Probably because I'm doing it by myself and it's kind of boring. It's not boring. But yeah, I would love to hear from you. And as always, I will see you next week. Bye-bye! Nothing's even happened to this show. I'm on 2 cups of coffee and I don't even know. This is gonna be quite the editing job.